All right, welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Take Flight with Dave, the Eagles fan. I'm your host, Dave, along with my co-host and producer, Kaylin. I probably say this every week, but we got some fire for you. It's going to be another great episode, man. Before I continue, I do ask you please like and subscribe and share this content with anyone that you know would like what it is that we do. We are a newly founded Eagles show, so please help us grow. We'd really appreciate it. Man, we got our predictions episode today. So we're going to touch in a little bit on wins and losses, record at the end of the year, and then touch on a few Pro Bowlers as well, man. It should be a great one. You ready, Kayla?
Yeah, let's get it. So, like Dave said, we're gonna go through and predict every game. Well, Dave is gonna predict every game of the season for the Eagles, and just give you a quick win loss. And we're gonna go through and do Pro Bowlers and awards afterwards, and then we'll wrap up. So, with that being said, let's get started with Week One, where the Eagles will be playing the Packers in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Uh, we got all the lines from Warren Sharp. So the Eagles are favored by a point and a half in this game. Although I've seen this line climb as high as 3 in some other places. Um, so, Dave, what are you thinking for Week One?
It's going to be an amazing game, man. I mean, first off, we all in Brazil, so that's going to be, a really great experience. Um, I see us winning the game. You know what I mean? Finding a way to win. I've noticed that a lot of the scores are kind of low from what I'm seeing out there, but I think it's going to be a high scoring game. And then, honestly, what I really see is it coming down to about the last drive, and then we win it by about 6 to end the game. With no time left, so no PAT. So, but I think it's going to be a high scoring game, and I definitely think it goes over. But I think we start the year off with a dub.
Okay. All right. So Eagles are going to start the season 1-0, and for the record, I think the Eagles are going to take that first game as well. Let's get to week 2. We are going to be in Philadelphia for this one, hosting the Atlanta Falcons. The Eagles are favored by 3.5 points for this one, and they do have a 2-day rest advantage because they play on Friday in week 1. So, what do you think about this one, Dave?
Um, Man, earlier on, I was thinking, okay, the Falcons, bro, whatever. That's a dub for sure. Because it's the Falcons. The Falcons is definitely they look like one of those NIL teams that went from, oh, okay, we only won 2 games last year to, hey, now we got a bunch of studs on our team this year. So I still see us winning. I think it's going to be a shootout. I think the Falcons are going to have a pretty good offense. I think their defense is going to be so. I think the offense should be decent. They should put up numbers. So I think it's going to be a shootout, but I think we win and we take care of that game pretty easy. They do still have Kirk Cousins, so that's a dub for us.
Okay. Yeah, the Falcons are definitely a kind of show improved team for me. They definitely got to show me something before I start believing in them. Okay, week 3. Dave, now this does start a semi brutal stretch. Four out of 5 games are going to be on the road starting week 3 when you go to New Orleans to play the Saints. And the Eagles are still favored by 3 points on the road, and the Saints are actually coming in with a day and a half rest advantage because the Eagles play Monday night, I do believe, week before. So, what are you seeing for this one?
Random note: if that Falcons game is Monday night, then we win that handedly because they still got Kirk Cousins. It's Monday night
Oh,
game.
that's a good point.
You know what I mean?
Point.
But with the Saints, man, we in New Orleans. Man, Rockets environment, bro. It's always crazy in there. My mom's a big Saints fan. Her and my dad like to go get out there and go to the games and the Big Easy, do their thing over there, bro. So, but we get this dub, bro. It's the Saints, bro. Win the game. It's the NFC South. Win these games. I don't care what type of rest advantage they got. We should win this game, and it shouldn't be too close. So.
Okay. Moving on to another NFC South opponent. You are going to be in Tampa Bay for this one, playing the Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield and those boys. The Eagles are favored by 2.5 in this one. How do you see this one going?
So this is the game right before the bye week. It's a really early bye week, but I think it'll be necessary just because we did have to go out to Brazil, really early in the year. I know it's a really long flight there and back, of course. going to be tired. I know the media is going to be crazy. Of course it will be. So they have to deal with a lot. So this, like I said, being the last week right before the bye week, I think it's going to be a tough game. I see a comeback win. I do still think we will win, but this team did, for lack of better words, whoop our ass in the playoffs last year, and I think we remember that. We got a lot of returning players on this team from last year, and we remember that ass whooping they put on us. And not to mention, we beat them during the regular season, and I think we won by like a couple of scores, so it wasn't super close. But obviously, towards the end of the year, we were on the down skid. But this team is not that same team, and like I mentioned, I think they'll remember that they got the best of us last time. The reason why I say it's a comeback win, it is the second game on the road, and right before the bye. I see us, starting off a little sluggish, and I do still think that the Buccaneers have a decent run game, and then that's my fear in most of these games is if we can't really stop the run. So I think that this game will be a close one, but I think we come back and we get the victory. So what's that 4-0 to go into the bye? I like
Yeah,
the sound of that.
that's interesting. I wasn't thinking too much about the Bucks, but until pre-show when you mentioned Todd Bowles plays the Eagles well. Jalen Hurts, one of the worst quarterbacks last season against the blitz. Todd Bowles obviously loves to blitz. So that should be an interesting game. If the Eagles do start off 3-0, that's definitely one of the games you want to keep a close eye on. Okay, so Dave has the Bucks, or excuse me, Dave has the Eagles starting off 4-0. Week 5 is the bye week for the Eagles, so no game that week. But week 6, they are back in Philadelphia playing the Cleveland Browns. Uh, the Eagles are favored by 3 in this game, and they do have that 7-day rest advantage because they do have the bye beforehand. So, how are you seeing this one going, Dave?
Man, the Browns, an amazing secondary, an amazing front seven. That defense is going to be stout.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to win this game. But the reason why we win the game is because we got Jalen Hurts. They got Deshaun Watson. You know what I mean? It's like I don't know who Deshaun Watson is anymore. But at a certain point, we got to believe he's not that same guy that he was in Houston. You know what I mean? Because now it's been, about a year and a half or so? It's like we hadn't seen it. So unless, something changes in between now and, of course, week 6, to where we got to see a bigger body of work during those first 5 weeks, then I'll have a little bit more fear. But, of course, I still expect him to run the ball very well, too. And like I mentioned earlier, I'm still afraid of what we're going to look like against the run. So that's I don't think it's going to be an easy game by any means. It's going to be hard to score against that defense for sure. But it helps that we are at home. And in Philly, we're talking about the ruckus environment that the Saints were. It's the same thing in Philly. Like I said, I got a chance to finally get to experience that last year, and it was amazing. That environment is tremendous. So that plus us coming off of a bye, so now we got a week worth of rest, like well needed, I'm sure, at that time, and we're at home. I think we take care of business and we get the dub.
Okay. I think one thing that the Eagles really have going for them in this game is that uh, last season the Browns defense didn't travel as well as defenses typically do. They actually weren't that fantastic on the road. A lot of their most dominant
Mm-hmm.
performances were in Cleveland. So I think the Eagles do have that going for them. And hopefully that's one game. Maybe the secondary can get off and create some turnovers and give some extra possessions to the offense,
Yep,
who will probably end up needing it because that defense for Cleveland is pretty stout.
absolutely. I like where your head is. I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah. So okay. So you have the Philadelphia Eagles starting off 5-0. Let's move on to Week 7, where the Eagles will be in New York playing the Giants. Eagles are favored by 4.5 in this game. How do you see this one shaking out?
It's the Giants, ain't it? No, man, we ain't got Boston Scott, the Giants killer anymore. But I still absolutely think Saquon is gonna go stupid. He gonna get back to New York, and he gonna I don't know, he gonna do unspeakable things to the Giants, man. I'm expecting 100+ rushing yards, a few catches for about another 50, probably get 2 touchdowns. We should handle the Giants pretty well. I don't see the Giants being that good this year. So I see us getting this win, and then that makes us what,
6 and
6 and
0.
0,
Mm-hmm.
6 and 0. And then before we continue, don't think too much of the 6-0, like, oh, like I'm being a homer or anything like that. Keep in mind, last year we started off 10-1. The year before that, I think we were also 12-1. You know what I mean? It's like we're winning a lot of games. You know what I mean? It's like that's just kind of what we've been doing. Everyone talks about how great our roster is. I mean, well, that should lead to victories, and honestly, I think it will. So I definitely see us going 6-0 to start off. Even though, like I said, it was a little bit of a stretch where we had a handful of away games, but I think we make the most of it. And like I said, we get the wins. Like having that buy in between really kind of helps, or that buy in that home game. But then, yeah, I definitely see us going 6-0, beating the Giants.
Uh, I definitely hear you. The 6-0, it can sound a little crazy, a little homerish. When you look at the schedule, I think the Eagles will also beat the Packers, and after that, it starts a stretch of NFC South games. I really think the Eagles should be looking to sweep the NFC South. It's just one of the weaker divisions. Falcons, Saints, Bucks all in a row. I think it's realistic to imagine the Eagles winning those three games. Although, maybe I could see them maybe dropping a game to the Falcons. And then, yeah, I mean, Browns.
Or the Bucks for some reason. You know what I mean? Like, I could see it. You know what I mean? It's like it doesn't shock me. And also, like you said with the Browns, if we see that Deshaun Watson, like I said, was actually kind of balling out pretty decently within the first 4 games, then I think that they become contenders for real.
I think the
That
Browns
defense is
game will
stout.
probably come more down to where Nick Chubb is, if he's
Mm,
back. I know he's not starting the season. I don't think he's ready to start the season just yet. But if he's back by that time and playing well, then you mentioned the run defense. It could be an issue. Nick Chubb having an absolute monster season last year before he went down with a brutal injury. So that really sucks. We do want to see him back. He's a great player.
Facts. And then if for some reason that front seven over there for the Browns are stopping the run and we can't run the ball now, and now the play action ain't there, they're just killing more offense. And I wonder if Nick tries to step in and try to get us forcing some dumbass passes and shit. You know what I mean? I don't know. So
Yeah.
like I can definitely see any of these games going left. But I mean, obviously, I am an Eagles fan and I am optimistic. I'm realistic, but I mean, I'm gonna still look at it with an optimistic lens because why would I assume we're gonna be bad? So I think we're gonna make it happen.
Okay, cool. Okay, so let's move on to week 8. We're gonna be at Cincinnati playing the Bengals. This is the first game the Eagles are not favored, and the Bengals are favored by 3 points in this one. How do you see this one going on?
I think the Eagles take their first loss in Week 8 against the Bengals. I think that this game is actually going to be a shootout. Joe Burrow unanimously is the top 3 quarterback in the league for sure. You know what I mean? I got him at number 2. I think it sucks that he's been hurt a lot lately, so we hadn't really got to see him truly, perform at his best. But I think the game is going to be a shootout. I think we score a lot of points. I think they score a lot of points. But I think whenever we think of shootouts, or at least me personally, it either comes down to who has the ball last, or I'm taking whoever the better quarterback is in the matchup. And then this time around, that's Joey B. And I think Joey B might take advantage of some of our DBs. You know what I mean? Late in this game, bro. Jamar Chase still that dude. T Higgins contract year. I'm sure he's gonna do something. But yeah, I got us losing this one, mainly because, like I said, I mean we went 6-0. On top of that, it should be a shootout, and Joey B is that guy. And plus, we're in Cincinnati, so I mean that could definitely. Matter of fact, bro, you were talking earlier about a little treacherous road that we'll be on. I actually think it starts week 8, and I say that to say, bro, you got Bengals, Jags, Cowboys, Commanders, Rams, Ravens. Man, 1, 2, 3, 4. Bro, 4 out of those 6 games are away. I think this is going to be the stretch
Mm.
where it's going to be tough for us to come out, and we should definitely be battle tested. Like at worst, I could see us going 3-3 in this stretch right here. I think we end up going 4-2,
Well,
but I
well
I could see 3-3.
okay. Hold on. Well, we're about to get there. We're about to get
Okay,
there.
my bad, bro,
No,
my
you're
bad.
good. You're good. I would probably agree. It's hard to see the Eagles winning in Cincinnati, especially if it's a shootout. I don't think you're going to beat Joe Cool in Cincinnati in
Hmm.
a shootout. Probably will have to grind them to dust with Saquon Barkley on that one if you were going to get the win. But
If you're gonna win,
yeah,
yeah.
that's going to be an extremely tough game. So we'll see how that one goes.
Mm.
Next week is week 9 back in Philadelphia playing the Jaguars. Eagles are favored 3.5 in this one. How you see it going?
I see us getting a win. We've beat Dougie P both times we've gotten a chance to play him. Well, I'm sorry, last time we got to play him. I think this will be our next time playing him. Or did we play him twice? Oh, we got to remember. But I think we get that win. Also, we're talking about week 9. What's that? October? Probably around October-ish. I think that probably is late October, maybe early November. But I'm saying that to say it'll probably start to get cold in Philly. And we talking about this Jacksonville team from Florida. We know how the Miami teams do whenever they're going to play the teams up north and over there on the East Coast.
Week 9 is November 3rd.
November 3rd, I got a feeling it's going to be cold. And then, so with that being the case, I don't see Trevor Lawrence, Mr. Sunshine from Remember the Titans. I don't see him and Dougie P bringing that team in here and then them getting a win. So I see that we'll win that game. I think we might win by a couple of scores. I think.
Yeah, I don't think I'm super high on the Jaguars defense, and I think any team coming into Philadelphia not playing good defense, I think you're going to be hard pressed to win
Mm-hmm.
because they're going to have the crowd involved the whole game. They're going to be hitting some of those home run plays, and they're going to be tough to beat. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I don't see the Jaguars coming into Philly. Next game, Week 10, the first matchup with the Cowboys this season. It's going to be in Dallas. The Cowboys are favored by 2 in this one. How you see it going?
Man. So it just depends on how the season goes. Like I said, I'm very optimistic. We have not won in Jerry World in at least 5 years or so, bro. It's like we cannot for some reason get a dub out there. I don't know what it is. But that changes this year. We're gonna sweep them boys this year. I'm getting ahead of myself. But this week, we win this game. We finally win in Jerry World. We take care of business. I think it's gonna be a slugfest. That's gonna be a great game. My issue is a lot of the games that we've been playing in Dallas, we've been getting our ass whooped, like getting blown out. It's like, what the hell is this? The last close game I remember was the year that we went to the Super Bowl, and Gardner Minshew was actually our quarterback. And it came down to we lost by 5. Like on the last drive, with him having a chance to throw the ball to Smitty, we didn't get the touchdown or whatnot. But I think it's going to be a game like that. I can't tell you if it's going to be high scoring or low scoring, but it's going to be a slugfest. It's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be an NFC East matchup. Two teams who hate each other, rivalry week. It's going to be a great game, man. But we finally find a way to win this game. Everybody's going to be healthy. Jalen's going to be healthy. The receivers are going to be healthy. Saquon's going to do to them boys what he wasn't really able to do when he was in New York, because now he's going to have that O-line to shit on them boys like I know he want to. I think we finally get this dub here in Dallas, bro.
And this is going to be a really tough game. I honestly cannot call this game. I have no idea how I see that game going. Probably would need to see the Cowboys first, but that's going to be a tough one for sure. Let's keep it moving, though. Week 11. I do believe this is a Thursday night game in Philadelphia against the Commanders. Eagles favored by 6.5. How do you see this one going?
I see a win. I think Jaden Daniels is actually going to be pretty good, but I just don't see the Giants or the Commanders beating the Eagles this year. So whether that's home or away, we should get both those wins.
Wow. Okay, so you have the Eagles sweeping the division.
I do. I do.
That's pretty impressive. If they do that, then they're definitely going to be the number 1 seed for sure.
Yeah. That's just kind of how I got it in my mind, but I'm going to let the rest of the episode play out.
Okay, week 12 in Los Angeles playing the Rams. The Rams actually favored by this one by half a point.
Yeah.
But the Eagles
And
do have a 3-day rest advantage, though, from playing on Thursday night the week before. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking that the Rams are only favored because they're at home. So if the Eagles were home, I think we'd be the favorites. Yeah, so I got another shootout. Like I don't think that the Rams defense is great. I think Sean McVay is though, and I think the way he has that offense humming and running, I think they're going to be great. Um, Very similar to the Green Bay game. I see us winning because our D line kind of wrecks shop and we kind of mess up the game plan on what it is they were trying to do. But I do think it's going to be a shootout. I do think they're going to get the best of us from time to time on defense, and I don't think. I'm sorry, while they're on offense, and I don't think that their defense has nearly enough, horses in their stable for them to be able to compete with the horses we got over here on our offense. So I think it's a shootout. But like I mentioned with the Cincinnati game, I think the better quarterback wins. And me personally, I got Jalen Hurts over Matthew Stafford. So yes, the Eagles beat the Rams. Absolutely.
Oh man, Matthew Stafford's definitely a better quarterback.
Fuck out of here.
He's really good, man. Okay. Week 13 in Baltimore. Ravens are favored by 4 in this one. Eagles do have a 1-day rest advantage. I wonder what that's from. I think because the Ravens play Monday night the week before, and the Eagles
Mm.
play Sunday, so a 1-day rest advantage.
Okay. I can see that.
But Ravens still favored. How do you see this one shaking out?
I think the Eagles take another loss. I don't like the idea of being in LA one week and then having to go all the way out to Baltimore the next week. I know the Eagles are going back to the East Coast where where they reside, but I just don't like that idea of having to go back and forth like that. And the Ravens are going to be tough. I mean, the Ravens are another contending football team, Super Bowl contender, so you got to expect them to play well. I actually have a predictive score for this one. I went with 24-17. I
Mm-hmm.
think this is one of the first teams that kind of hold us under 20 points. And I could also see this as a possible Super Bowl matchup possibility. I don't know. But yeah, I think the Ravens run game and then how physical they are on defense. Their secondary is top 6. The front 7 is top 7. I mean, and they got a great head coach, bro. Like, I mean, if Lamar and them take care of the ball, I could see them beating us. Of course, ideally, I would love for the Eagles to come out on top, but I got us losing this one though.
Oh, okay. So this is the second loss of the season. So right now, through 13
Mm-hmm.
weeks, you have the Eagles 10-2.
Yes, sir.
Um,
Damn AFC North
yeah,
with the two L's.
I I would definitely say that I think this is going to be a loss as well because honestly, I think if the Eagles defense holds them 24 points, they probably play pretty well. Lamar Jackson destroys NFC teams. Just not super familiar with that guy, and if you're not super familiar with how to guard him, it's gonna be pretty tough. And again, you mentioned the running game, or we were talking about the Browns. This is probably gonna be one of the top 2 running games in the league. Um, in Baltimore, I mean, yeah, he might have to just go ahead and just scratch this one. This is probably going to be a loss. But if the Eagles do find a way to win this game, that's going to be a really big statement victory
Mm-hmm.
for them. So that'll be a good game for sure. Uh,
Yes, sir. A phrase my dad likes to say is, "You can cancel Christmas."
that's
Like
definitely
it's
a
over.
classic old head saying for sure. Okay, cool. Let's move on to week 14. We're playing the Panthers. This is the last of the NFC South teams. Definitely the weakest. This will be in Philadelphia. Eagles favored by a whopping 7.5 in this one. Huge line.
Yeesh.
Um, Dave, do the Eagles win and do they cover?
They definitely cover. This game is in Philly. I mean, it's in Philly. It's against Bryce Young and them. But I see the Panthers drafting in the top 5 again, if not the top 3.
Yeah, top.
They win this game, especially if I'm saying they just lost to the Ravens. You're not about to come back and lollygag and Rudy Poot with the Panthers. Now, if you find a way to dig out a hard fought win against the Ravens, you might come into this game a little groggy. You should still win. You know what I mean? But I think they cover as well, though. Especially coming off the loss, they cover, they win, they win by at least 10, and they run away with this game. We might even see a couple of the backups coming in, bro.
Cool. I think the one of the real problems with the Panthers, they're just an overall really terrible team, and a lot of the bad teams in the league that people think will definitely be at the bottom. The Raiders have a really good defense. The Patriots have a defense as well. I think the Giants they're going to be pretty terrible, but I still think they're going to win some games. The Panthers, to me, are probably the worst team in the league. They don't really have anything
The
going.
roster is bare, bro. Like, what are they doing? And then I doubt they're gonna sign any free agents for real, bro. Because who wants to go play with over there, bro? And then no one believes in Bryce Young just yet, and it sucks. Because bro was pick number 1. I mean, I don't know. It's a shit show going on over there.
Yeah, I would really hate to be I don't know. I don't know. Do you think the Panthers draft a quarterback if it goes terribly? There's some good quarterbacks you don't want to miss out on. You got
Yeah.
Shador Sanders, Quinn Ewers. There's some
Mm-hmm.
quarterbacks coming out of this year.
Now, bro, if they got the number 1 pick, they go on quarterback. Which sucks though, because also,
You need
what
every
is the
position.
situation is that
You
quarterback coming
need every
into?
position.
Yeah, bro. It's just like what's best bet is to trade that pick to try to get as many picks as possible because you already were missing your first round pick from last year anyway because of the trade up. So it's like they might need to get more picks, but also if Bryce looks terrible, they say F all of that and they just go ahead and grab another quarterback. But I think if he looks decent and it looks like it's not all his fault, then I think maybe they just grab some other pieces.
For the audience, we've been looking at a lot of Warren Sharp stuff, and he kind of went through and he ranked all the units for all 32 teams, and the best unit for the Panthers he says is the secondary, which is ranked 21st in the league. That's their best unit.
21st. And shout out to 21. They'll be drafting Shador. 21's son.
Oh man! All right, that's enough time on the Panthers. Moving on, Week 16 in Washington D.C. playing the Commanders. Eagles favored by 3 in this one. How do you see this one going?
And like I mentioned earlier, bro, we do sweep the NFC East this year. It'll
Oh
be
wait, I'm so
exciting to
sorry.
do.
Wait, I skipped.
Oh, you did. You
I
did. The
skipped
Steelers.
Week 15. Yeah, Week 15. My bad. Week 15. The Steelers. That's in Philadelphia. Eagles favored by 4.5. How do you see this one going?
Same result. We're going to win this one too, man, just because I don't think the Steelers are a good team. Like, they just announced today that Russell Wilson will be the starter. And it's like, okay, well, good luck. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know really what you're going to do with that. The best of luck. But I just don't see them winning too many games. I think this is Mike Tomlin's last year there. It's not enough to not have a losing season. I mean, you're supposed to be Pittsburgh. You're supposed to have the most amount of Super Bowls ever and all this other stuff. And it's like, what are y'all doing? So I just don't see them being that good. I think they're also drafting in the top 5 this year, looking to get a quarterback. Their offensive line looks horrendous in the preseason. Like,
Yeah.
they look terrible. It doesn't matter who's back there at quarterback. They're about to get murked. And then also their bread and butter is their run game, but they line trash. So I just don't know what's about to happen. But we win this game, hand over fist, bro. I think we do our thing.
Yeah, I think the problem with the Steelers is I don't like this team either, but they're going to steal games from good teams. Like they're going to beat 2, 3 good teams. I feel like they just do. Their defense is going to come on strong a couple of these games, and I don't. It's hard to predict the Steelers game. You just never know because they're going to try and muck up every game they play in. And I think they'll lose a lot of games, but um, you just definitely want to be hyper focused when you play a Mike Tomlin team. You know, the defense is going to be looking to force some turnovers. So, but I think the Eagles are definitely still the better team, so they should win that game. Okay, now this is Week 16 at Commanders. Eagles favored by 3. What do you got?
I got us winning once again. Like I said, we are sweeping the NFC East this year. I'm super excited for it. The only games in the NFC East I'm really nervous about are really the Cowboys games. But it's weird that I say that just because I've seen really close Giants games, especially Washington games. We be letting the Washington Commanders quarterbacks look like Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Brady, and them against us sometimes, bro. Like Sam Howell was putting up numbers against us last year, but I do think we're a different defense.
Well,
You know,
Sam Howell threw for a ton of yards. So, I mean, I'm not saying he's good, but he did throw on a lot of defenses. It wasn't just the Eagles. He's one of the top passing leaders.
man, but we was on that list. That's the point. but I think that this year, man, we shore up a lot of those things and we take care of business whenever it comes to the NFC East. And at the end of the day, we got another rookie quarterback over there that we're playing against, and I think Vic is the type of old school guy to make sure that we're not going to get beat by this rookie over there on the other side. So I think he's going to make him very uncomfortable, and he's going to be prepared for his legs, especially after we played Lamar. And then I also think playing the Commanders 2 weeks before Lamar may kind of help us a little bit, but we're playing with Lamar as well. But I definitely think after 2 times of playing that type of a quarterback, and then even with the Steelers, because shoot, by the end of week 15, it's probably Justin Fields back there quarterback. So now we done had all this time to practice against, scrambling quarterbacks. That's why I just can't see us losing this game to the Commanders in week 16.
I just want to say, last year Sam Howell 3,946 passing yards, 21
Sheesh.
touchdowns, 21 interceptions. Jalen Hurts, 3,800 yards. So he threw for less yards than Sam Howell. 23 touchdowns, only 2 more touchdowns. Hurts did throw 15 picks last year. So
Yeah.
Hurts passer rating 89.1 to Sam Howell 78.9.
He also rushed for about 15 plus touchdowns too. I think he did. So if we
Okay.
count total touchdowns,
Yeah.
but whatever. I
Touch
hear you.
touchdowns.
Hey,
Most teams,
66,
most teams are giving those
66,
touchdowns to running backs.
66, 6.6 points. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
That's besides the point. And I told you, and I think last episode, this is the year where he throws over 4,000. Man, I'm excited to see it.
I I think that I'm high on the Eagles as well. There's like a 2% chance they sweep the division. I think the
2%.
the division is it's not great, but to go 4-0 against the Cowboys and the Commanders, I think it's going to be incredibly tough.
So is your fear any of those games versus the Giants and the Commanders? I get the fear of the Cowboys because I see my worst case scenario, bro. We end up going 12-5. And then part of that for those 5 losses is splitting with the Cowboys. But do you see us possibly losing to the Commanders or the Giants?
The Giants, no, I think the Giants are really, really bad. That's going to be a sweep, but I have to see the Commanders. Some people are high on the Commanders, so I kind of just want to see how they look. And
That's fair.
Jaden Daniels is a running quarterback, so you never know. It's gonna
No,
have
I hear you.
at least a couple good games where he rushes for 80 yards or something.
No, facts. He probably had about 6, 7 of those games. It just won't be against us at that time. That's all I'm saying. Is like the practice with the Steelers the week before, bro. The Ravens the week 2 weeks before that. Like I don't know. I just feel like we'll have enough practice to kind of make sure we can contain Jaden Daniels at that time. And also, bro, at this moment, think about it. I have us what and two? How many wins?
13-2 at this point.
13-2. So more than likely, there's probably a couple other teams out there that are probably like one game behind us because a lot of the other teams in the NFC kind of have tougher schedules than we do. So it's like I can see them being around that same place as us. So it's like we're not going to drop this game against the Commanders. We got to make sure we solidifying this so that way maybe we can rest a little bit later.
Yeah, that's why I said if you sweep the division, you're going to be the number one seed. The 49ers are definitely not sweeping their division. Their division's brutal.
Brutal,
The Lions are not sweeping their division. Their division's brutal.
brutal.
Um,
And also both those teams got first place schedules.
right.
So they gotta play each other. You know what I mean? They're gonna play the Cowboys, you know, it's always gonna be something. And
Yeah.
then also, you know, with this 17th game, you always play one team from another conference in the I mean from another from a division in the other conference, but of course whatever seeding they ended up in as well. So they're playing the first place team for matter of fact, what division is that? Who we play? Oh, the Jaguars. So like I mean we're doing the AFC South or whatnot, you know, but I don't know which division those two teams are playing, but it's like when that first place spot, bro, it's like everything you're playing is a little bit tougher. So I think that we'll have the opportunity to be able to kind of be right there at the top with the other teams being right below us, at least record wise.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Week 17, second to last game of the season. It's going to be in Philadelphia. Playing the Cowboys. Eagles favored by 2 in this one. And I guess we know what you got for this
You know what?
one.
And also, bro, it's like just like we hadn't really been able to beat them in Jerry's world, bro. They normally don't really beat us in Philly. We normally do our things. First off, they're outside and it's cold. This game's almost in January. It might be actually. I don't know. It might be, but it's gonna be cold. It's gonna be brutal outside. The Blues are gonna be raining down. I think the Cowboys are gonna be like fighting for a playoff spot around this time. So it's gonna be a tough game. Well, no, it's not. It's gonna be a blowout. Yeah, it's gonna be a blowout. I was initially thinking tough game, but I'm like, no, it's gonna be a blowout. I think we're gonna handle business, bro. We're gonna show the league at this time that we are the best team in the league. I think we're gonna solidify the best record in the league at this time, winning this game, beating the brakes off them boys, like they stole something, bro. Like I said, solidifying the sweep that we've probably not done in I don't know, at least about 10, 12 years. And it might be a little bit shorter than that. I might have to fact check. But either way, they have been more likely to sweep us than we've been able to sweep them.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like even though we'll have a better season, they normally will have our number. You know what I mean? It's like whenever they play us, all of a sudden they kicking it up. Because I think a lot of times that's a Super Bowl, if we being honest, bro, because they ain't getting past the second round of the playoffs. So it's like, hey, we beat the Eagles, though. I had a conversation with a guy at the bar the other day. He was like, "We beat y'all, though." I'm like, bro, is that the barometer? Is that what we going for? Like, bro, oh, but did we beat you? But does that mean y'all are better than us? Because we're doing a lot more winning than y'all are. But let me get off that tangent because he definitely had me sweating at the bar. I was pissed. But but I do think we get that sweep, man. I think we go ahead and get this dub. This way, you know, I'm gonna segment it to the next week, but I'm gonna let you throw your thoughts out there.
uh, yeah, I don't really have any thoughts for this one. Probably
Okay,
the Eagles will win in Philadelphia. Um, I don't know if they'll win in Dallas. It's gonna be a tough game.
tough as hell.
Yeah. Okay. Last and probably least, the Giants in Week 18 in Philadelphia.
What's crazy is I was talking about a sweep just for us to lose this game, but for good reasons. I think we will be resting our guys because at this point we are now 14-2, with the best record in the league. Definitely the best record in the NFC, I'm assuming. Um, and with that blowout win against Dallas, I think we go into this game and we're resting our starters. Um, and I've heard some people say, okay, well, why rest the starters if you're still about to get a bye and then next week as well? I get that. And I can't be mad at that thought. I'm thinking maybe we might play and start off playing a little bit and then go ahead and rest people either in the second half or like, you know, second quarter, just, you know, kind of going out there almost like a preseason game. But I'm not mad if they decide to rest them completely. But if we're what's that 14-2, 14-2 at that time,
Right.
I'm 100% okay with resting our players, unless you know that the 49ers, the Lions, the Packers, the whoever, is also around that same record, which I highly doubt with the strength of their schedule versus ours. So I do see us resting, and that will be the only reason that we lose that game. I'm not a huge fan of our backup quarterbacks. I don't, and especially our backup offensive line and things like that. I don't see us being able to score enough points. I saw during the preseason, or we can't score more than 14 points with these backups. You know what I
That's
mean?
because
So
they
like
keep putting Kenny Pickett out there. If you can beat the Giants, you throw Tanner out there
Tanner
with,
McKee.
with Johnny Wilson, and they're going to
Okay,
score some points on the Giants. I guarantee you that.
okay. All right, I ain't
So
mad
Will
at it.
Shipley,
No, I feel you.
you know what I'm saying? They
I
gonna,
like Kenny G. Put Kenny G back there, or if
Kenny G's
whatchamacallit
terrible.
if
I hate that guy. He's so bad.
chill out, bro. Let him make it.
He's a
Let him
check
make
down
it.
merchant. He's so
I
bad.
hear you. But if Saquon is deactivated that week, then bring up Buddy from the practice squad we was just talking about off pod
Yeah.
earlier on. Yeah.
Price.
Yeah, Price, bro. Bring him on up. I'm okay with that. But still though, I just think if we're playing against the Giants' actual starters, we're not winning that game if we're resting our starters. So that's why I got us losing that one. And I got us going 14-3, being enough to win not only our division but also our conference, get the number one seed, get the bye, and then get an automatic bid into the divisional round, the second round of the playoffs, and then let the chips lay where they may.
Mm.
And we got home field advantage going all the way through the playoffs. So you're going to have to come through the link. But yeah. So that's how I see it, bro. That's how I see it playing out.
14-3 season.
14-3. But I will say this. I think worst case scenario is us going either 11-5. I'm sorry, 11-6 or 12-5. I like to think that we are going to be built. Teams that have a great GM like the Eagles do, Howie Roseman will always make sure that we have a pretty stacked roster. We're going to bring in the best pieces possible. He's not going to leave any stone unturned. He will trade for people. He will make sure we draft. He likes to say that the roster is not finalized until the trade deadline is passed. Then that team is okay. This is our team. So he was being asked yesterday, talking about, okay, so how do you feel about your final 53? And then he was just like, well, my bad, initial 53 is what they call it. He was like, I don't want to judge the team off of just this yet. I want to look at our 70 players that we have. So, and that is the additional 17 practice squad players on top of we get like a one extra. I'm sorry, 16 practice squad players, and then we get one extra with like a international exemption or whatever the hell. So we get one extra player than other teams do. But we got 70 players, and then Howie likes to wait to see what that team looks like. So then he can tell you, okay, what his thoughts are on the team. And I'm saying that to say we're always going to be adding pieces, always going to be trying to be better than what we were before. So with that, on top of having a top tier quarterback, whether you got him in your top 5, top 8, top 12, whatever, you have someone who's going to always be good, plus a great roster. You should always be contending for the Super Bowl, in my opinion. You know what I mean? So it's like, I know he's not Patrick Mahomes, but it's very much how you look at them, how you look at the Bills. And the Bills don't even have as great of a roster as we do, but they got Josh Allen. You know what I mean? So it's like that. And then because of those things, where I think we will always win at least about 12 games. So I think worst case scenario, we drop one of the games to Dallas. Maybe we drop that game to the Rams. Maybe we drop that game to the Browns. You know what I mean? Like things like that, and then we end up going like 12-5. But of course, we beat the Giants at the end of the year because we're not resting guys. So that's how I see. I think we'll go 14-3. I think worst case scenario we go 12-5.
Okay, solid season either way. Before we wrap up, let's hand out some awards. Who's gonna be the Pro Bowlers on the offense?
Man, we might just be running the Pro Bowl whenever it comes to our offense, bro. It's like we're just gonna line up our whole team out there, and then we'll be good to go. To be honest,
Wow.
but, I got Jalen Hurts and Saquon both making the Pro Bowl. I think Saquon has a career year this year, man. This is going to be like the best offensive line he's ever played with. the best offense he's ever played on, like all of that. So him for sure. Yeah, I know my takes on Jalen Hurts. I see him winning the MVP, so for sure he is a Pro Bowler. On top of that, Lane Johnson, a perennial Pro Bowler. Landon Dickerson, also a Pro Bowler over the last 2 years. So I think when it comes to offensive line, making a Pro Bowl, a lot of it is reputation. You know what I mean? Because I mean, who's truly watching the O line and okay, did you see how he dominated this block? Like, yeah, you can see okay how many sacks he's given up and all this other stuff, but a lot of times if your name isn't out there, people don't truly know the like, okay, yeah, that right guard for the Saints, oh, he's a stud. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know who that is. So it's like I think a lot of times your name and that notoriety matters for you to become a Pro Bowler. So now Landon's done it twice. So now that name's already out there, people are going to be thinking, okay, bet he's one of the highest paid guards in the league, and it's the Eagles' offensive line. We should give him a Pro Bowl again. That's normally how it goes. So I think that'll happen for him, Lane Johnson, and I think Jordan Mailata finally gets his first Pro Bowl nod, and that'll be our left tackle. So I think he gets one. And then obviously AJ. AJ is perennial Pro Bowler at this point. Last 2 years for sure. Also, last 2 years, uh, second team All Pro. So I definitely see him being a Pro Bowler. I also think Devontae Smith gets his first Pro Bowl now this year. The movement that we should be looking at with Kellen Moore's offense, utilizing Smitty in the slot, using them on both sides, using them on the outside, using them on the inside, putting them in motion. I think he has a career year whenever it comes to yards. So I don't think he gets snubbed this year. I think he ends up in the Pro Bowl. So that's what I got on offense. We got Jalen, we got Saquon Barkley, we got Lane Johnson, we got Landon Dickerson, Jordan Mailata, AJ Brown, and Devontae Smith. What's that? 2, 4, 7? 7 Pro Bowls. We had 6 Pro Bowlers all last year. We got we got 7 on offense. That's how I'm feeling.
Okay, what about the defense?
I got 2. We got Jalen Carter. I think he's gonna be a stud. I think Pro Bowl is honestly his floor. This dude is legit. And then I got CJ Last time he was with us, if he can stay healthy, because I mean he got hurt the last time we had him, and he only played 2 games last year. But I think if he's healthy, man, he's a playmaker. He's always around the field. He's always around the ball. I think he makes some things happen because I think we're gonna have some pretty good coverage from our corners this year. So it's kind of hard for me to see how exactly that goes with a bunch of the young corners that we have. So we'll see. And I think Darius Slay takes a little step back. I don't think he's washed by any means, but I don't think he's going to be a Pro Bowler. But I think CJGJ may benefit from maybe some of the added pressures that we have this year and, just kind of being over the top and around in Vic's system. I think he'll kind of set him up because the safeties normally do pretty well in Vic's system, at least if you're a pretty good safety. So I see that going to them two. And one more you didn't ask me about special teams. I think my boy, Jake the Snake, Jake Elliott. Jake Elliott is another Pro Bowler. He's an amazing kicker. I think he's top 3 in the league. He's top tier. So I think Jake will also be a Pro Bowler.
Pro Bowler anywhere in the secondary would be nice. I think the safety position has a chance to be opportunistic. Defense probably would be average to slightly below average. So
I see us ranking around top 18 in defense. I don't see us cracking the top 10. I think if our defense can be anywhere between top 12 or top 16, then we're going to be a really great team because that offense is going to be top 3.
Yeah, and that's kind of the point that I'm making. The defense won't have to, like, they're just not going to be pressured to do too much, and I think they'll understand that. In the offense is scoring points. You just want to kind of hold serve. I think they'll take their opportunities, and they'll force some turnovers when appropriate, and they'll give up some points, but they'll do what they need to do to make sure they get the win. Cool, man.
I
So
think all in all, we're gonna be good.
Yeah,
the best way I can say it.
definitely. Yeah, I'd probably say a top 2 seed for Philadelphia. will be a good season with this roster. I think anything lower than that, and you might be in the underwhelming territory. At least for me, when I look at the roster, there's a lot of players that you like, and it's a team with a lot of pedigree. So I'm expecting a pretty good season. I do have my hopes up.
Hmm.
But yeah, man, that's about it. That's the schedule for this season. And yeah, Dave's got the Eagles going 14-3. Should be a good season. In a few days, we should be having the very first preview episode drop, which obviously is going to be of the Packers game, where we're going to go in more detail and kind of break some things down. We'll go into key matchups and X factors and all that kind of good stuff. So that's really good. Be on the lookout for that. But until then, don't forget to like and subscribe to the video, guys. We're going to be here all season long, just dropping content. We'll have videos for after the games as well. So be on the lookout for those. And we'll see you guys next time.